everybody. I think I've done this right again. I know I've missed a couple of bits off somewhere along the line, but I will sort them out eventually when I get the hang of it. Well, good morning, afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is I, Nelly. I offer you greetings of the day. So, would, if anybody is listening, type something so I know that you're there and I'm not just talking to myself, because I do that a lot, but then, I always get the right answer. Aha, there we go. Neshi is in the house. Morning, Neshi. So, today's show links, and Sherry's here too. Hey Sherry, how are you? And Rob is here. He says he would type something, but he's not listening, and I can't fault him for that. So, what was I saying? Oh yes. So today, and Neshi's sprinkled the show all over the place, so that's awesome. Thank you, Neshi. So, what am I saying? Today, old ways in the modern world. It connects with last month where we were talking about getting in touch with our ancestors, because we are living in a strange world. All this modern new ways of thinking. You Simonized the show. So who's Simon? That would be my question. Anyway, so yeah, we've got a strange kind of world at the moment. This modern society, which has its benefits and it has its good things, and it has a lot of difficult things as well. And as you all know, being the modern druid that I am, I do feel somewhat out of place sometimes with, well, most things really. And the call of the old ways has a great attraction to me. Especially when we're talking about the stones and the spirits and the gods and goddesses and the people that and beings and everything that I feel connected to. And I imagine that most of you listening to the show have a similar affinity to the way back when. But that's all good stuff. But hang on, I've got an itch. These things make my ears itch. Excuse me. That's better. But I can, as we all can, have, what am I doing? Be in danger of romanticizing the past in some ways, because let's not forget our ancestors, no matter where they were or where they were from, no matter who they connected to within the other world and the spirits around them, they had it pretty tough. It was a tough life. And so we need to remember that, so that we don't romanticize what has gone before. Because, as I say, not everything in the modern world is bad. I'm going to use the B word. It's not all bad. I mean, we have all this stuff with computers and phones, and we can communicate our ideas and our thoughts to everybody. Modern medicine has got some great benefits. Not all of it's good, not all of it works from experience. But anyway, let's just say there's some good stuff in there. But there are also some difficult points. I mean, what we're doing to the environment, I mean, that's not great. Our ancestors were more connected and in touch with their surroundings than we are with ours. Although many of us try to be more in tune. So we've got a bit of a disparity going on. Not everything of the past was good, and not everything of the modern world is bad. And we have to try to connect the two in small ways or large ways, big, small, and everything in between. We need to connect all the good things of the past with all the good things of now. And so that we're not romanticizing either, but we're living in a more complete and in the best way that we can, not just for ourselves, but for those around us, and not just for those around us, but the earth and every other being that lives on her as well. So, with being in touch with our ancestors, as we were exploring last month, we can talk to them and find what wisdom we can bring in that connects with now, of which there is much. So, in doing that, we can then explore now in a new perspective with older eyes, shall we say, where we can see all the good things that we are doing and hopefully make changes to the bad things that we're all doing, me included. I mean, for example, we have, most of us have a box with a screen on it in the corner of a room, which is a huge distraction. You know, we get home from work. I know I do. I get home from work, I do a few chores, and sometimes I just need to sit and just unwind a little bit. And so recently it's been a case of, oh, let's just see what's on TV and just relax. Well, that's all well and good if you can moderate your TV use and not be overly distracted by it. It can be a great educational tool, but equally it's massively, massively distracting and does, you know, you intend to sit there for half an hour and 5 hours later, you've not finished watching a box set of something. You know what I mean? Everybody's pushing these box sets now, and you know, keep us all sitting in front of the TV watching. Stops us doing the work that we're supposed to be doing. And anyway, so you see my point. But there's lots out there that is actually very good. You know? So let's have a think about that. What's the best of the past and the best of now? Let's marry those two together to help us move forward. And how we can do that, or a few options, a couple of ideas. Maybe we can all explore it together. In fact, we should all explore it together. I mean, all this stuff, we should all explore it together so that we can share it with everybody else that seeks it. And there are more and more people seeking these ideas now. I feel that all over the world. So some fantastic ideas coming through. So anyway, before I ramble on, once we've connected with our ancestors and once we've had a conversation with them, then I'm just going to bring this up. I'm not sure what a server series is. Binge watching, yeah, binge watching is horrible stuff. And now she says agrees about taking the traditional beliefs and the modern beliefs, having to sift through everything. Yeah, everything that we actually believe, we have to sift through and discern which is the best, which is actually serving us and which is holding us back. Because ideas of the past can hold us back as much as ideas of the present can. Oh, several. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for the clarification. So, so yeah, discerning which is which. So, and that always comes through conversation with our ancestors, conversation with ourselves, and conversation with those who are also seeking the best path to move forward on. And this is separate from which path is best for me. That's a different conversation entirely. And well, I'm lucky I found mine. But anyway, so what to do about that? Firstly, communication is a good thing. Now, being the stone guy, the stone and crystal guy, you know, I always look to them to help me communicate as effectively as I can. You all remember her? Giant blue rock. She sits with me all the time when I'm doing this. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, giant blue rock. So when we talk about the aids to communication, when we start talking, we bring in the chakras, the throat, etc. You can pretty well use any blue stone or crystal that can be helpful. You know, if we talk going color-wise, I mean, there are some specifics, which that's for another show. See, I'm planning ahead. So, oh, Nellie's got a question. Oh, Rob's come up instead. I've become the crazy guy who talks to the trees here in my local community. Have you become the crazy guy? Or have you become the wise guy? Does something else with something to do with wise guys, but that's a completely different thing, which we won't go down that road. Yeah. So again, perspectives. Anyway. Okay. Give us an example of old ways belief. So I'm going to give you a good example from my tradition. And it actually connects with what Rob's just said. Talking to the trees, talking to the earth, that there are spirits all around us, and the trees are powerful beings, and they off they are they the most giving beings on the planet or amongst them? Again, discussions for other times. But trees, when you think about trees, I feel every tree has its own spirit. Our ancestors knew the trees. They give us of themselves. They help us breathe with supplying oxygen to the air. They give us wood for fuel to keep us warm. They give us wood to give us shelter. They give of themselves. And our ancestors knew that. They knew the power of the earth and the stones. And good morning to you, Jocelyn. There were gods and goddesses and spirits everywhere. I mean, those beliefs, you can find them all over the world, everywhere. North and South America, Europe, Australasia, etc. So, oh yes, I'm just going to bring this up from Sherry. Where'd it go? There it is. Silence of nature, the trees whisper the most incredible wisdom, and yes, they do. So that's just one piece, of which there are many. So there are not just us and the other physical beings upon the earth, but also the spirits of those beings, plus the other spirits of the earth and the sky, the wind and the waters. So that's just one element, and that is, for me, a good belief. The more difficult beliefs, and we know this from South America. Is it the Aztecs or the Mayans? Which one was it? I think it was the Aztecs. The Aztecs had, I believe, some. Yeah, there was a. Yeah. Let's just not just single them out, because I'm pretty sure these beliefs also happened here, Europe way, and elsewhere, which involved blood sacrifices to the gods for whatever the reason may be. Yeah, they were not great beliefs. So, it's a good example of where some of the difficulties of the past lie. Anyway, so now, but the good bit, communicating with the spirits and asking for their guidance and advice and assistance to help us move forward, we can happily bring that forward to now, because those spirits never went away. They stayed with us. They kept believing in us long after the society's changed. There we go. Thank you for the clarification, Neshi. It was Aztecs, yes. Ritual blood sacrifices about using life force as a request to spirit. Yes, so yeah, I find that very difficult territory, as you can imagine. There are some that say the Druids did that too. I personally feel that the Druids as a whole did not do that. However, that I'm not so I don't have the rose-tinted spectacles that say they never did it. I'm fairly certain that there were some darker druids that would have practiced those same beliefs. So I'm not blind to the fact that some of our lot could be just as brutal as those that are more well known. Anyway, but what we're looking for is a more peaceful path, especially now. So anyway, talking to the spirits, we can do that now easily enough, happily enough. But then most of the modern belief systems, the big ones, we all know who they are. They have a singular deity to communicate with and ask for guidance and assistance for. And that's fine. I'm not arguing that one belief system is any better than another, because it's not. We're all seeking a path to peace and a path to the divine, and there are many. And I am happily and completely polytheistic, which is very difficult to say. I believe there are many gods and there are many goddesses. I believe there are spirits everywhere. I've seen too much stuff for people to make me believe otherwise. Again, right? What has Rob just said? There we go. Oh, that was Neshi. Sorry, bringing Rob back up. Animal sacrifice is common in Judaism. Human, on the other hand, was part of dark das. I will come out and say it. I've earned my title of that. Exactly. So we have to find a way to discern what we need from the past without romanticizing it, that we can bring in to our current modern world. So, guess what? I've got a couple of stones here that can help us. So I'm going to bring up this one. Let me just, there we go. And I'm going to try something. Nessie was telling me how to do the solo thing last month, but I've forgotten. But anyway, I'm going to do this. There we go. So, Unikite. So we have I'm just going to do this. Stone show and tell. Yep, stone show and tell. I can't help it, can I? So, Unikite. I mean, I'm not going to go through all the attributes of all the stones that I'm bringing up. So, I'm just going to focus on the elements that we're going to really need for this discussion. So, Unikite, if you put it on use it on the third eye, it's very adept at assisting you with psychic vision and visualization. So we can use it with journeying to help us make that connection with the ancestors. And then we can change what we're asking it to help us with, because it can help us integrate those elements of what we're trying to bring back to our modern world and help us compromise sorry, I just noticed I'll bring that up in a sec. Help us make a compromise between the two, because you can't just bash things together and hope they'll stick, because they don't. You have to make a compromise from, the past and the now. You have to help it fit as best it can. So, Unikite, and it's got many other attributes, but like I say, I'm not going to go into all of that. I'm just going to bring this up like this. Yes, I have, and I have the magazine here. So I am going to do this. And drop that down. Oh no, that's wrong. No, what am I doing? Oh, that's what I'm supposed to have done. There we go. So, Star Nations magazine, Healing Crystals by me. Everybody buy it. What page am I on? I'm on page 7. let's just have a... Oh, there we go. Healing crystals. All pictures by me of my stuff. All my friends. Anyway, so Unikite. That's a nice one to start off with. Then, now there's the Unikite. Let's bring this one up and do that. So this is the one. I'm going to bring this up. I believe Unikite, or perhaps you could say Unikite, as you unite and bring forth the ancient wisdom in a heart-centered way. Exactly. Again, considering the colours, and connecting them with the chakras. Thank you for that, Sherry. Thank you. Anyway, this one, right? We've got a combination here. The bit that I want to talk about first is the blue bit, and I don't know why I'm putting my cursor over it, because you can't see that, but I can. So the blue bit is Cavernsite. Okay. Now Cavernsite, excuse me, Cavernsite has for us today, that can help us during a period of self-reflection. So we have what we think about the past. We have what we think about now. We have to reflect. We've got those ideas and beliefs within us, and how that makes us think and act. So within that, if we reflect upon ourselves within all of that, then we can help, again, connect the two. What best serves us from the past with what best serves us of now. So extending from that, it can help us think more logically. Oh, no. It's more a case of combining our thoughts and our intuition, thinking logically about what we need rather than what we want or what makes us happy. What ideas make us happy? What ideas of the past make us happy? What ideas now make us happy? We're looking for that discernment. So reflecting on that in a more logical and intuitive, but also tempering that intuition with a bit of logic, that can help. But again, an added bonus on the Cavernsite, the blue bit, that can help us with past life exploration. And I've got another stone here that I'm going to show you in a sec, which can also help us with that, because not only can we look at the beliefs of our ancestors, we can look at our beliefs of ourselves during past lives, should we choose to take that step. It's an interesting consideration, because we've been here before, sometimes many times, unless this is your first trip, in which case, welcome. But I think we're all of the we all have the knowledge that we've been around here before. We've all been here before from time to time. So past lives and exploring those beliefs and what was good and what was bad, that can also be helpful. But the white part, I don't know why I'm pointing to things, sorry. That's still bite. So again, we're talking about journeying. The aspect of journeying again here. So we can journey to our past. We can journey to our past lives. We can journey to discuss things with our ancestors. We can journey to discuss things with the spirits. You know, I'm not dismissing that fact either. So this can help you with spiritual journeying. And it will help guide that journey. So if you've got the intention clear of what you're trying to discover, discern, understand, to bring back, this will help guide and direct that journey to that knowledge, to those ideas. The other element that I'm bringing forward is it's also how it opens your intuition. So we're talking intuition all the way through here. Intuition, guidance, and discussion with to that knowledge that we need with the spirits, ancestors, our own past lives that we want to connect to. What else have I got? Oh, past lives. Let me just do this. So, talking about past lives, I want to just show you this one. I didn't take a picture. I just got the stone here. So there we go. This is Dumortierite. It's not a very well-known stone. Have you got some of this, Sherry? I think you have. Dumortierite. I haven't used it for anything other than past life journeying, and it's really, really powerful. It's fantastic, fantastic stone, and not hugely expensive either. Might not be very well known, but it's not hugely expensive, so it's an easy one to get hold of. The Unikite also is pretty easy to get hold of. The Cavensite, that's a bit more difficult. The Stillbite, that's a bit more difficult. Getting the two together, that's difficult, but they are out there. It just takes a bit of time to find what you need. But what I will say is, if one or more is presented to you in a store, then those are the ones you need. You know, you don't have to just don't fix it in your mind that you have to have this particular stone, because you don't. I always find the ones that you need always present themselves to you regardless. So there's things, comments. So Jocelyn says she's never seen the Unikite. It is pretty prevalent, really. I've seen it most places. Yes, well, these are amazing. Yes, is that yes? You've got Dumortierite. Because Sherry, owner of Evolve in Glen Arbor, is one of the 3 people in the world that I buy stones from. So if anybody needs stuff, get in touch with Sherry because she's brilliant. So there you go. Rob. Rob, I find harmony is great for a term for our relationship with nature and the planet. Yes, and it's getting to that place of harmony, especially within this modern setting, which um, that's where we're trying to bring in that compromise, you know, compromising the yeah, we do have to do a lot of compromising at the moment. It's not very harmonious, is it? Oh dear, that's a bit of a downer. Sorry. Um, well, thank you, Rob. But if this is your first trip, you're not likely to be listening to this. It's rather advanced. Well, you never know. You never know. Um, and Deborah Clark Clemens, well, welcome. And yes, Sherry, put your store information. Sherry, never mind the live feed. Just post your store information so that people can come and find you. Um, and yes, she's got Dumortierite. So, anyway, Dumortierite. So I'm simply going with the past life explorations on that one. And I want to show you this one. Anyway, this one. Where's the? There we go. This is the blue bit. Is what we're talking about. Azurite. I've got another bit here, which you can see. There we go. And you can get this. This one's quite easy to get hold of as well. You can actually get it. I've got a couple of little berries. You can call them berries, just little spheres of them. They're over there, so I'm not going to reach them, which is just pure azurite. And you know the K2 stone, the blue bit, that's azurite as well. So it's quite common stuff. But as with everything, just because it's common doesn't mean to say it's not powerful. Every stone is powerful. So there you go. What was I saying? Oh yeah, azurite. So again, this can help guide and develop your intuition amongst its other attributes. But yeah, so azurite's another good one to help you intuit what you need and what is right to bring forward from our old beliefs, our old ways. I mean, there's another example: shamanic practices. You know, they've come back very strongly in the Western world. You will Western world, the post-European world, shall we say, the post European invasion of the rest of the world kind of time, where it was all the Enlightenment and science, etc. The shamanic practices, they've come back very strongly from the old ways, and that's another good one that we've brought back. Sorry, I'm jumping around a bit, but you know what I'm like. Right, so it can help develop. I'm going to do that again. Helps you with developing your intuition, but it can help you find your understanding from what you've intuited and help you find new perspectives on that. So new perspectives both on the past, both on the past and the present, and what we can connect together. What works, what will help us move forward, that is the best of both, where we, just as an example, where the modern world is, the modern societies are reconnecting to the earth, reconnecting to the spirits, respectful to the planet, and not just for as an individual, but as a society, and for the good of all, and the animal world and the plant world, the insect world, and for every being on the planet. And that's what we're hoping to try and work towards. So that's just another little one there. So let me just do this. Love all these beauties of stone. Yes, they're awesome. And well, there it is. That's Sherry's site. Go and have a look. Like I say, I've got 3 people worldwide that I deal with, because I know I can trust them 100%. Glen Arbor is, yeah, thanks, Sherry. Rob wants to know where Glen Arbor is. It's near Sleeping Bear Dunes. It's not far away, anyway. On the lake side of Michigan. I've been there, it's awesome. And yep, that's the magazine stuff. Anyway, so one other thing. When we're doing, I brought in 2 lots of stones last month to talk about, which was flint, and which for me is is probably our ancestors' most important stone, because of all that they did with it, all the tools that they made with it. Yeah, it's about 45 minutes away from there, Rob. What was I saying? Yeah, so that's another true. All of other, all. Now you made me forget what I was saying. Let's just jump to the point. All these if you wanted to, you don't have to go hunting these stones. If you have others that resonate with you to do this kind of work, to do this exploration and discover what of the old ways relates and can lead us forward now. So there's the flint that you could work with, and I'm doing this on purpose, Neshi. Preseli bluestone, which this is, you know me and this stuff. I love this stuff so much. So I'm going to do that again. No, 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 no. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. So anyway, so there you go. But so we've got a few minutes left. So what? Rather than babble on about more stones, there's a couple of ideas that I wanted to bring in for people to consider. Whether you know it or not, I drive a truck. I am a truck driver, and I drive around the certain areas of the UK. I'm a not long distance. I'm home every night. I've got to be for mum and all the rest of it. Plus, I don't want to be just driving around in a truck 7 days a week, all over the place. Anyway, so I, over time, have brought in certain elements to my truck cab that help me for that day, for that week. Whatever, I'm not explaining that very well. These are ideas that I brought in that I felt will assist me within that role, within that job, but not just assist me, but to help guide and protect me while I'm on the road, because it's crazy around there. Okay, just so everybody knows, Preseli bluestone, as in the inner circle of Stonehenge. This is my sphere that Neshi really connected to last month, and I'm just what am I saying? Yeah, I'm just teasing. Anyway, so and as an element of what we can do to bring the old ways, good things from the old ways, is and demonstrate that, but not not loudly and not evangelizing anything, but just these are little these are the personal things. And the first thing I did was this. Oh, no, I pressed that wrong. The first thing I did was this. I made a prayer stick. Now, there's several elements to this. There's the stick itself. I'm doing it again with a cursor. I'm sorry. The feathers and the 2 wooden medallions that I burned a design onto. Now, the stick itself, I picked up at one of the places I was delivering to. It was just lying there. I looked at it. I thought, I need to take that with me. I don't know why. But then later on, I understood why. And so what I did was I had a prayer to the goddess that I say every day. usually several times, and I used the ogham to burn it onto the stick. The ogham was the ancient Celtic tree alphabet, which was developed in Ireland. The feathers, I picked them up at another place. There is crow and swan there, and they were both on the just on the ground. So I picked them up and added them in. And then there's the two medallions. They are Icelandic symbols derived from Vikings symbols, etc. There is the Aishólma, which is the helm of ore, as it translates, which they used to use. They used to carve, carve, draw whatever onto their helmets before they went into battle. It's a symbol of, to help ensure victory, but I'm using it in a slightly different fashion, as in, to ask for protection while I'm out on the road. And the other one is the Vegvisir, which translates as the guidepost, which is to ensure you always get home. You always find your way home. So that was the first thing that I brought in. And then press that button. And then recently, this has come into the cab, which is my little cab altar. So, I'm bringing the nature is, I need it. I need it around me. And we have another stick with another prayer on it. Completely different prayer this time. If you're looking at the stick, you might be able to see on the right hand side there's a little figure, and that's Cernunnos. He is one of the nature gods, ancient nature gods, very ancient. And again, the ogham with the prayer on it. Now that prayer is not mine. I didn't write this. I adopted it. A French druid, while I was away on retreat in France, in Brittany, which is where the stick came from as well, by the way. Anyway, she, we're discussing things and the road and everything, and she told me of this prayer that she has, that she says to Cernunnos as it for a blessing for the spirits of the animals that have been killed on the road. And that one really got me, and I thought I'm going to. It inspired me to create one of my own. But then in further, I discussed it with her, and eventually I decided, no, I don't need to create one of my own. This one is perfect as it is. Now it's in French, so I'm not going to try and read it out. But these are the types of small things that we can do for ourselves, which can help us adopt some of the old ways within the modern world. Now, I'm not the only one that uses my truck, but you'd be surprised how many people don't touch my stuff. they're a bit. They might not be sure what it is, but they can sense there's a sacredness to about it. Then that's how what I'm taking it from for as way. That's how what I think that happens. They can sense there's a sacredness to it, and they leave it alone. So it's just a couple of examples of what I do that may help you find an example or 20 that you can bring in for yourself. And this is a modern world. This is a modern truck with full of electronics and all the rest of it. Oh, that's the other thing that I do. I know I'm going to run over time here, so I'm really sorry. But I also ask for a blessing on the truck. Every time I get in it, I ask for a blessing on the truck that it'll travel safely and so on. And I always offer a prayer of thanks at the end of the day when we get back safely back to the yard. So these are just, they're small things, but they make a lot of difference to ourselves and the spirits and the gods and the goddesses. They notice this. They see that we haven't forgotten them, and that we know that they're there to help us and guide us. Now, Sherry must be off to work now. Blessings to all. Have a great day, Sherry, and hopefully it won't be too long before I see you again soon. Right, so there's comments that I want to have a look at. So, Rob says, "Are you playing Stonehenge tomorrow night?" No. um, you do what, Jocelyn? I'm not sure which bit you're answering there. Now, interesting question. Is there a resource on making a prayer stick? You have a few in waiting. Not really. Not really. In my opinion, the key to creating a prayer stick is have the prayer, have the suitable stick. The stick is just a stick to begin with until you create the prayer on it. Now, I use a pyrograph doodad to burn it on. Have the prayer. If you wanted to translate it into the OM, there are resources on the line that can guide you in that. That can help. Well, it can help you transliterate, and that is a word, from modern English into the OM lettering, because you have to shoehorn some stuff in there, but you can make it work. And I find that as you're writing it on there, that you can, if you've got it going, if you're repeating it as you're putting it on there. I mean, you could just use a marker pen, a Sharpie or something to write it on. It's still the same. I burn it in because that's my preference. So it's not really, you don't really need a resource. You just have to do it. You just have to make it, and then it is made. I think the hardest part for me is knowing which words you want to use and putting them in the right order. So does that help? prayer stick with an ancient language and ancient feather medicine, perfect ally, friend to ride along with you in the truck. Here in the States, that would be like claiming shotgun in the vehicle. Absolutely. So yeah, it's I just find that I feel the difference between my truck and all the others in the fleet, and there are a lot of them. I've driven a lot of them, and I don't like any other than mine. Um, and then I have to say, it might be a modern vehicle, but I still feel that she has a spirit herself. Because honestly, I there's oh, maybe I should do this. Uh, there we go. I I hear people talking about the other drivers have spoken to me about my truck and how it does this and this, and it's not, they 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 have difficulties when driving her. Well, they don't treat her right to start off with. They don't drive, and she knows. So I'm fairly confident I can say my truck has her own spirit. And I have my ritual that prepares me for the day and the journey, and she is included in that. And I always greet her, good morning, and I always say good night at the end of the day. So that's just another thing. There's some more messages here. Rob's trying to fit in cab altar into the lyrics of Convoy. Good luck with that. Let me know how you get on. I know this one is about the prayer stick. But always say a prayer for the animals and sideline vehicles I see on the roadside. Yeah, and this is something we can all do, and it's a simple thing. Um, Thank you, Neshi. Oh, I am running over. Love the tips and the stones and the show and tell. Thank you. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you. That's for the prayer stick thing question. Rose, big question is on decorations, as in where to get them. If you're talking about the stones and things in the cab, they were picked up on my route. They were there. I looked at them. I asked them if they wanted to come with me and help me through the day, and they did. So they came with me. So the pine cones, in and of themselves, I just pick them up and bring them along if I want them or not, because they've been cast off by the trees. The tree no longer needs them, but they can help me connect with trees and stuff like that. Anything, same with feathers. If they've been left behind, then they're there for you to help you, with a with thanks to the bird that left them, and so on and so on. But decorations are everywhere. You just have to open your eyes and open your mind and open your heart and develop your intuition as to what you need or what might be useful, and run with it. Um, oh, like leather, etc. That's more a case of, I suppose, looking at suppliers, maybe, that kind of thing. Unless it's leather pieces that have been made for those those things, specific reasons. It's a matter of looking around. Yeah, craft stores. That's it. Craft stores. Craft stores, but there's no reason why you can't purchase items that are right for you. But my preference is to make the things I need, because in the making of them, that is in and of itself a magical act where you're asking for help, and you're imbuing these items with an energy that you're putting into them. That so and you don't need to be particularly skillful. It's not about skillful. It's not about how the thing eventually looks. For me, it looks like how it's supposed to look. It's the act of making the thing for that purpose, or several purposes, depending on what you're making. So don't worry about a skill set or a skill level. Just give it a go. So, on that note, I should let you all go because it's past time. I don't know what crazy. Also, check out. Oh, the last bit didn't come up. I don't know why. Oh, there it is. It's down there. Oh. Anyway, so there you go. Hope something in there has been useful to you. So on that, oh, what have I done? There you go. Thank you. He's been gifted natural objects. I'm thinking of hand grips and bases. Give it a go. Just give it a go. That's it. Give it a go. So, on that note, well, thank you, Rob. I'm glad I've been helpful, and I'm glad you found it very interesting. I dropped it. Nearly smashed my computer. This stuff is harder than granite. It's anyway. So, on that note, I shall bid you all farewell. Have a glorious, great, and wondrous day. And any questions, put a post on the Starter Stone page, and I'll probably eventually get back to you. Rob knows what I'm like. I'm not the swiftest, but I get there in the end. I'll try and be better. So, on that note, have a wonderful day, everybody, and we shall see you all next month. And I'm working on something, hopefully, a bit special. We'll see. If it doesn't pan out, I'm not telling you. I'll see you all soon. Bye now.